So are we good to start?
Yep. We're good to
Okay. Good evening. It is 6:02. We're already behind. We better start, I guess. I want to welcome everybody on this beautiful spring day. We have, some occasionally, and today happens to be one of them. So welcome. Let's call this April 4th regular city council meeting to order. Call the roll, please.
Berkland,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Need a motion to approve tonight's agenda, but before I get that, I need to let everybody know, because of a last minute update, we are adding one item under old business. It'll be letter C. It'll be a resolution supporting the city and seeking community project funding. We'll discuss that more when we get to it, but that's the item again. So resolution supporting the city and seeking community project funding. That addition, can I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Berkland,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Thank you. As noted on our agenda, we're starting with something a little different tonight. That is Perry Ward 2 appointment letters of interest, review, and appointment for our vacant Ward 2 council seat. A notice of vacancy in the office of Perry Ward 2 was published, and those wishing to be considered for appointment were asked to provide a letter of interest no later than 12 o'clock noon on Thursday, March 31st, 2022. During this time, the council will review letters of interest from those wishing to be considered and have the opportunity to question the individuals. Once concluded, council will vote on an individual to appoint them, and also that individual will take the oaths of office, and once taken, will allow that person to be part of our regular council meeting tonight. We got one letter of interest. That's from Jeremy Jeremy, excuse me. And Jeremy's here tonight. So Jeremy, maybe we can start off. This is something different we don't usually do, but maybe we can start off by you talking a little bit about yourself and why you have interest in becoming a member of our council, and then council can answer any questions you have. That sound okay? We got it.
Sounds good with me. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just talk a little bit about yourself and maybe your involvement in the community and why you're interested in joining the council. And then council can ask any follow-up questions.
Okay, perfect. Hi, everybody. My name is Jeremy Mahler. I know that some of you know me, some of you may not. I am a resident of Perry. I have multiple businesses in Perry. I have a sophomore in Perry schools. I've been fairly active in Perry and just council and meetings and things like that. I think that I have a fairly good head on my shoulders and like to look towards the future. And I think that I can be helpful with any of the things that we need to discuss to drive this city forward. With that, short and sweet, I'll let anybody ask me any questions they'd like.
That sounds good. Council, any questions for Jeremy?
When are you open the Commonwealth again?
Currently working on the kitchen in the back, just kind of doing that at our pace. It'll be coming along a little bit quicker. We don't have heat back there at this point, so working back there this winter was awful. So now that it's getting a little bit nicer, I think the progress will be happening a little bit faster. We've got everything pretty much set, drywalled. It's just time to tape and mud and do some finishing stuff.
I noticed your address was at the Proletariat. Is that where you actually live?
So there has been some discussion. The addresses are 1213 and 1215 Second Street, with the apartments, I believe, being 1215, which is what I use. I don't even know which one is which, 1215 and 1213, and where the apartments. I just have all the mail come to 1215. And I think that like on my liquor licenses and things like that, it says 1213/1215 Second. But I guess I would have to say that I don't know exactly what address is posted to which parcels.
Other
But I
questions,
do live above the,
other questions for Jeremy? Okay, no other questions? If not, I'm open to taking a motion that we appoint Jeremy to the vacant council position in Ward 2.
I make a motion, we appoint Jeremy Muller to the council position in Ward 2.
Second.
Any more discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Berkland,
Yes,
Klein,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Schott.
yes. Welcome, Jeremy.
Welcome, Jeremy. Welcome.
Thank you. Now,
sorry, I couldn't be there.
yeah, I might mention Jeremy couldn't be here tonight because he's out of town, so that's why he's not here in person. Now, I guess we do the oath of office. Is that correct?
Yep.
And Liz will be doing the oath.
Okay,
And then
Jeremy.
once that's done, we'll start our regular items and Jeremy will be a member of council and will participate. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, Jeremy, you just need to repeat after me. I, Jeremy Muller,
I, Jeremy Muller,
do solemnly swear that I will support
do solemnly swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Iowa,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all the duties
discharge all the duties
of the office of Perry Ward 2
of the office of Perry Ward 2
in the city of Perry,
and the city of Perry,
as now or hereafter required by law.
as now or hereafter required by law.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you.
Now
Congratulations.
we'll ask you to hang around and participate in the rest of our meeting. Again, congratulations and thank you for expressing your interest.
Mayor, can I add just one thing on
Sure.
the minutes? So Jeremy will be on council unless there is a petition filed with myself within the next 14 days requesting a special election. Otherwise, he will hold the seat until the next municipal election, which is to be held on November 7th of 2023.
Okay, thank you for that update and clarification. Okay, are we ready to move on to the consent agenda then?
Yep.
We will do that then. Tonight's consent agenda includes the following: minutes of the March 21st, 2022 regular city council meeting, payments for contract services. Again, all these are for Bolton and Mink, so I won't mention that each time, but they're all Bolton and Mink. They include 2020 downtown improvements in the amount of $3,740.50. General engineering / wayfinding / solar / stormwater projects site plan reviews in the amount of $12,582.50. Iowa Street stormwater wetland in the amount of $13,662. Wastewater design in the amount of $25,500.90. The total of those items we just went over are $55,485.90. Tonight for claims, registers, and financials, we have $518,115.73. We have one item under licenses permits tonight, which is as follows. PG3 LLC doing business as Perry Grand Theater, 1312 Second Street. Renewal of a special Class C liquor license, beer and wine with Sunday sales privilege. Police and fire inspections have been completed and are on file at City Hall. That completes our consent agenda items. Need a motion to approve those?
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion on those items? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Berkland,
Yes.
Mahler,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to city administrators report.
Okay. First thing, I sent this out last week. I put paper copies in front of everybody, but we have been working with Bolton Mink and Public Financial Management, our finance consultant, on cash flows for the sewer plant. If you remember back in, I believe it was the ripe year of 2018, we did an initial round of rate adjustments, knowing that would get us part of the way of where we needed to be. And of course, with the prices and what that did, the project obviously came in over what we had thought it was going to be. So it is now time, now that we know the price of the project, we've been working on a new proposal for an update to our sewer rates. So we would be looking at an initial rate of a $9 increase on the base charge, and then a 12% increase on the per 1,000 gallon rate. From there on out, we would plan another 12% increase, 12% on both the base and per 1,000 charge, and then 2 years of 10%. And then from there, we'll kind of reassess and see where we are, but that puts us in a pretty strong position to be able to pay the bond payments, as well as have money set aside to continue doing our sewer cleaning, as well as other sewer improvements, so sewer lining projects, sewer replacements, things like that, to keep the system up. And I think that's really, now that we have the plant done, most of the increases we'll see from here on out will be really focused on needs with the collection system. Obviously, I think we've done a lot over the past 10, 12, 15 years on really having a very good understanding of the condition of our sewer system. So with that knowledge, we'll be able to set a really good plan of some maintenance on that sewer system. So we're planning on having Suzanne from PFM here at the April 18th meeting. She'll go over everything in more detail, explain things a lot better than I can explain them. But you can see there's a lot of numbers on here, and she'll be able to explain everything really well. So, but this is this is a better scenario than what we kind of started with. We were looking at a $12 base increase. So we're able to kind of equalize some of those percentages, get that base charge down to $9 for an increase, and then a 12% adjustment for a couple of years, and then 10% to kind of help get us where we need to be and fund our projects. So, but again, just kind of a little bit of homework and study. If you have any other questions, let me know. I can try and answer them. Otherwise, we'll be preparing the ordinance to adopt these rate adjustments. And we'll have that on the agenda April 18th as well. So learn all about it, have the first reading of that ordinance, get everything set in place, and then this would be adjusted for the July bills. So pretty high level on that, but it's kind of something that I think we've tried to be pretty upfront that this is going to be coming. It's just not knowing exactly what it's going to be. Of course, you know, looking at some other cities and things, we're kind of right in line, or still even a little bit lower than a lot of cities, either that have gone through projects or going through projects. So still in a pretty good position that way. So other thing, just a quick update on the solar project. You probably have seen some lifts over at the City Hall parking lot. They've been working over there quite a bit, wiring all of the panels together. A couple weeks ago, there was a little bit of a shutdown at City Hall to be able to wire from the new panel into the panel inside. So that is set and ready. So now it's just going to be a flip of a switch once they get all the wires pulled under First Street. So things are coming along. Rec Center, they've been working out there as well. Just kind of some of the larger ones they're still working on, but I think Towncraft, Carnegie, the recycle building and both public works buildings are turned on. So we're getting close, just down to library, City Hall and the rec center. So,
I've got a question about the rec center.
sure.
There's a ton of extra wires hanging down. What are those just being sold as extra wiring?
Are those red and black?
Yes.
Yep, so those are the wires that they're working on now. So those come from all of the panels and are collected from the, not inverters, but optimizers. And then those run to the inverters and are collected at the inverters. And then the inverters invert the power and send it into the building. So I think they're trying to rough everything in, then they'll go back and make sure everything is neat and tidy.
Buried where there was a bunch still.
Yep.
hanging out.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, Any other-
I know they were working on it today, but possibly. Today I walked by. And as far as I know, they were all locked, but the day you see it, maybe they were still pulling and working on it. Because I walked by this afternoon later, and I think every one of them was locked. So that could have been, they were just working on it.
Okay, anything else for Sven? Just not, thank you.
all right.
Mayor Council comments. I just have a couple things. Again, I want to thank Jeremy Muller for especially expressing his interest in the vacant Ward 2 seat and looking forward to working with him. Just want to add one thing that I didn't say earlier. Please get with any of us for, that we can help you get started and answer any questions you have. We all want to help you out as you get started as we need to and can. And we're all looking forward to doing that and working with you. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Also want to recognize, in case you don't already know it, that this is National Library Week from April 3rd through 9th, I think is what I read. The theme for this year's National Library Week is connect with your library. As we all know, libraries are places to go to get connected to technology, media, programs, videos, classes, in addition to books. We still have books at the library, but we have a lot more at the library now. And I just want to also add that libraries are a vehicle for communities and people to connect. And I think that our library certainly lives that every day, not just during National Library Week. I want to take this opportunity to thank Mary, her staff, and volunteers for making our library the great place that it is and such a living, vibrant place for our community. I know I speak for many people in the community, especially those who use the library, when I express those words. Again, thank you, Mary. And if you haven't seen it, the PSA came out today, public service announcement, on all the programs and activities that are going on in the library this month. There's some of them that are related to National Library Week, but there's the every month activities that we add on every month, add new things to every month. It seems like so many things going on in our library just in April. It's quite an impressive list, Mary, and I want to say again,
Thank you.
To you and
Thank
your
you very
staff.
much.
Cheers, thank you. I think that's all I have. Council?
I know I'm not supposed to bring it up very much, but we had a very successful. And as a result of that, we've had 8 or 9 people join our group. We don't know how it will set up, but that means more revenue.
Good.
I'd like to second the mayor's comments about the library. I'm closer to my microphone. I'd like to second the mayor's comments about the library. My wife and I use it a lot. There's always people there to help. There's always friendly faces. And I've been in other libraries around the state just recently for other reasons. And ours is cleaner and neater and friendlier and nicer. And it's all thanks to Mary and her staff.
It is.
Thank you.
And
Thank
I will
you.
third that. That
Yeah,
library is unbelievably helpful, in all aspects.
thank you. And I will pass that on to my team.
Please do.
Yeah.
Other council comments?
I had someone call me the other day and ask if Perry was having a junk disposal day like we used to in the past. And I talked with Sven and he was telling me that now we have free dumpsters that can be dropped off at each other's homes. So we're not gonna have a junk day at the park like we used to. The recycle is open out by the animal control area. So I think we've got a pretty good handle on things. And I just thought I'd let the public know that we will not have a junk day.
Yep, we haven't planned on it this year. I think, and Susie and Liz can both probably attest that I think are we up to 4 sharing dumpsters now? So we have 4 dumpsters. They're usually out every week, getting filled. You get 1 free dump with that. And then if you do fill it up more than once, you can call and then pay for dumps on those. We also have 4-yard and yard and a half rental dumpsters as well. So those are available and usually a waiting list, but still worth the wait, I would say. So, and then there's always free scrap drop off and appliances along with yard waste. So
Is it my understanding that you only get that dumpster for a week?
yep,
You
a
don't
week.
keep it for a month or whatever?
Correct. It's
The free
one-
ones, yeah.
1 week, 1 week in a year's time.
It's Wednesday to Wednesday, I think, isn't it?
Yep.
No, I think that was a great program we started. That's already been a few years ago. I think we started it, but it's a great program. Anything else for council comments? If not, we'll now move to our special presentation. Tonight, we have members of the Hotel Patee Management Committee. They're going to present an update to council. We're ready for that. Just state your name when you step up the microphone and share your information, please, Matt.
My name is Matt McDivitt. I'm the president currently of Perry Industries. To avoid confusion for the public, Perry Industries and Perry Economic Development are sister organizations. Perry Industries is the for-profit. We have subscription-based business with our local companies. And then Perry Economic Development is the 501c3 not-for-profit arm of Perry Economic Development. I'm joined here tonight with my coworkers, volunteers. I have Deb Luke, CEO of Mineral Communications. Tom Berkran, retired director, veterinarian of swine disease, I'll say. Does that sound right, Tom?
American Association of Swine Veterinarians.
Thank you, AASV. And then hotel general manager and all around do-gooder, Jenny Eklund is joining us tonight as well. So I have copies of the presentation, Sven. I know we kind of sent it out late. Does everybody have one?
Just, I put it on the screen, but if you want to, I know how you like paper.
Yeah. I print stuff.
Thanks, sir.
Sure. So this has been definitely been a team approach, right? So we call this Hotel Pet Team and La Post public-private partnership, and it truly is. So we started this journey. Yeah, a long time ago. Yep, I'd say at least. And so we were studying how a rural town like ours can make a hotel stay open indefinitely, right? So you kind of see on the slide on page 3 is the ownership and what I call the new era of the hotel package. So I kind of joked that, and we'll kind of rehash a few things, although I think we're on a hometown crowd here. Every small town needs a billionaire with an open checkbook. And thank you to Roberta Amundsen Green for really kind of what I will say is really putting her money where her mouth is in terms of revitalizing, helping to, recharge downtown and kind of kick off our I guess what I would say is kind of a renaissance here of our community the past 20, 30 years. But what she did do, for all the things that she did do, what she did do was build an incredible, extraordinary hotel that is also a museum. And so that makes it really incredible to try and maintain. And I think our group has studied different hotel models from around the state, especially in rural areas. We've gone as far as Fort Dodge, and we've met with a couple different other groups to figure out how they do it. And really kind of what I think we ended up with, what we ended up with is, hey, we really need somebody local, right? So Roberta, while profit wasn't her main motivation, in 2008, we had Leisure Hospitality, who I will say kept the hotel open, and to get us to 2013, which is really, I think, was the first time we had, kind of a local ownership, local control, people who are trying to make a profit. But along the way here, what we have figured out is that to maintain the infrastructure of the hotel costs a lot of money. And so as hard as the Harts has worked, and they were supported by hundreds of thousands of dollars, almost $1 million really in whether it's donations or debt instruments from people and businesses in Perry, there was constantly the need for the city and for Perry Economic Development to help sustain operations, right? And so, and unfortunately with the Harts is leaving, that's about the time that we picked up this study. And right when we were making some headway, had actually had an offer to the Hartses, and Tom and Vicky Maxwell show up on the scene. And I guess I'll speak for myself. I was personally relieved because we had put hundreds of hours of work in already, but it was nice that here was someone so supercharged to own and operate this hotel, also had fairly deep pockets, and in terms of being able to help start to revitalize the hotel. And so, unfortunately, as you can see from the timeline, and then here, as of April 1st, 2021, Perry Economic Development, we had purchased the hotel from Tom and La Post. I should not leave out La Post, Jenny, but from Maxwell Hospitality and his other business entities. And so now we are the owner of this property, right? And that's easy to say. This has a lot to do, if you kind of look at the next page for this project, the key to a lot of this is truly, and why Perry has been so successful in so many ways, is the public-private partnership. It's using public funds, private funds, and really, I don't want to say fleecing our citizens and businesses, but really asking them to give back to their community and to really help us move forward. And they have done that. And they have answered the call time and time again. And they did that here as well. And so you kind of see, the total kind of net purchase price of these two assets is about $1.6 million. That's after with a negotiated purchase price of $2 million. And then debt forgiveness and different, different credits along the way. We end up with these two properties for about $1.6 million in cash. Okay. Why is that important? So there's such significant value in the property itself. The last appraisal was done on the property was 2017. Roughly the appraisal of the property at that point was just short of about $4 million. And that's for the building and its contents as it was. You add in a recent appraisal of the post, which is about another 400,000. You're looking at well over $4 million of economic value in these properties alone. Okay. Now, the problem with that is economic value is all fine and good, but cash flow is really what drives, and it's really what keeps people wanting to manage the property, right? And so that's, so one, if you look at, the project status, bullet point 3, this hotel Patty management committee has been together for 5 years. And I guess the main subset of that has been Deb, Tom, myself, Sven, and Chuck has been with us along the way. Mayor Endorf has been with us, and Dan Spellman, Rich Jones, Bill Clark. So this has been who are now retired from our order, and so it's a thing that we have been really working to solve for a number of years, and I think we're almost there. I really do. You kind of want to look at the last 5 bullet points. These are really the goals and what we have identified as recently as 2 weeks ago as the main deliverables that we have remaining on this project to get to our end state, okay, and to really be successful. And again, it's continuing to restore the hotel facilities. I know there's something we're talking about in the near term here with facility study is hiring an outfit to come in and really do a thorough inspection of the hotel and the post properties, to allow the city and PED to know exactly what's remaining. We have done our own internal inspection. We have some crack maintenance people on the staff, and we have our lay version of that report that kind of tells a story of how things have gone and where things are at today, and I think it'll be echoed by the study. The other part of this is finding someone to own and operate this, or to operate this. And we have interviewed, we've sent out RFPs, we had a lackluster response. Who would have guessed that hoteliers aren't exactly excited to jump into hotels right after COVID, after losing an incredible amount of money, which is pretty much every hotel sustained maybe by PPP dollars. So we have, so we had interviewed some groups. We were underwhelmed by not only the response, but also their ability to try and know who we are as a city and as the property and why it's important to us. And so we've got an announcement towards the end of this presentation that I think is pretty cool. Third point here is we continue to raise funds. We'll get to that in just a minute. We've kicked off 2 phases now that have been pretty successful. I'll cover that in a future slide. We are working right now to create a Friends of Hotel Patty 501c3. Marketing name may change before it's said and done, but that's just what I came up with. But we are working to help sustain this. We know it's going to cost money, continually cost money. We want to alleviate the burden on the taxpayers as much as possible. Plus, everybody has a great story from the hotel and their feelings of the hotel. Sven loves what I say. I was engaged in the hotel. We've had the majority of our wedding was there. And so and it really means something to us. And I know there's a lot of other people who feel that way because it's just an incredible property. Yeah.
I think one of the points too, it wasn't taken lightly as we reviewed the companies that did respond to the RFPs, but I think one of the things that really stood out because of the history of those that had managed the hotel were successful and not, it's that when it was successful, there was a definite connection with their relationship to the community. not a company that's managed hard, they're not invested in the community. And so that was another thing that we were looking at, that we couldn't, in the right line, just hire somebody for the sake of hiring to manage the hotel, because it is such a vital part to our downtown that we want to make sure that it's.
Great point, Deb. And I think we're gonna be excited with the revelation in the moment here. And then ultimately leading to Perry Economic Development's donation of the Hotel Pattee and La Poste property to the city of Perry to help, here maintain the structure while somebody is able to run it, hopefully profitably. A couple things why it's important. So we talked about the value that we're getting or that we have gotten in the structures. The economic, you and I did a study several years ago. There's just about $5 million of annual economic development that's created by the hotel. So that's not only, the employees getting paid and then living their lives and spending money locally, but that's people coming into the hotel. That's people, spending money in town. That's, it's just there, and that's the hotel purchasing services locally. And so, and that's really important to remember. So somebody will ask, well, yeah, you raise all this money, we do all these things, that sounds great, but why are we doing this? Well, because it's, and I will argue it's the economic engine. It's really the heart of the city, but it's the economic driver for everything that happens here, in my opinion. From a fundraising perspective, we've made some headlines and created them ourselves, just kind of with large gifts. Osmond's Manufacturing being the lead gift, humongous gift from Heather Bruce and the Osmondson team, right out of the gate. And it's that, and here we knew the city, would contribute. We knew economic development was going to contribute. We knew Weiss Foundation would come with a large donation, and then those are fantastic, right? But it helps when you have businesses and other individuals like Osmondson's who are willing to say, you know what, I value that as well. And I think that really kind of set the tone for this. If you kind of see here, we've got about, a little over 490,000 of other donations from businesses. And there's some big donations in there as well. The majority of our industrial and service type businesses are represented. You can see their names on the board. There's been people since. And so and really the business community, we owe them a serious debt of gratitude for coming, coming to the call each time that we show up. So if you see on here, you can see our cash raised to date is about 1.9. And what I look kind of showing on the rest of the slide is the other economic drivers here. The total economic value that we've received on this project to date is about 2.3 million, a little over that. So which is fantastic, guys. Our goal, somebody said, what's your goal? Our goal was, we started at a goal of 2 million. Then when we got to that, we was raised to 2.5. Then it was, well, let's try for 3. And I think that still is our goal. And so we're going to continue fundraising. And we've got our third campaign will roll out here, later this spring into summer. And I think we want to start this off on the right foot. Definitely worth noting, there's about 100, right now is about 100 individual or business donors that make up that number, which is fantastic. And I think that's definitely important to point out.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's important to point out that we've had a lot of community people donate, not quite as big a sums as some of these, but they've donated some fairly good amounts of money in many cases, and every dollar helps. And it just goes to show too that we have the support of community and community buy-in.
And there's several businesses have done in-kind donations as well. So or a combination of cash and in-kind. I mean, Minberg Communications has not only donated cash but also services, rewiring the hotel and getting some of the telecom up, and I'm not going to say the right words, Deb, but getting the telecom brought up to date, which is important, right? Especially for business travelers and personal travelers today. Perry Peyton Glass has donated, I would say up, a good amount of money in terms of services and restoration services, which is important. So just to point out a few. can't really have a review without talking about, finances and operations. Kind of some bullet points there. Certainly summarized. There's not a financial summary that's been given to the council. We kind of that information at least is protected now. It's available if with interest. But this has been from April 1st when we took over through December, and I'd say even through the first 2 months here. But that very first calendar year was fantastic. Turn to profit. We did not expect that at all. I'm sure Jenny did, but and I think that, yeah. And I'm certain part of that was because she worked about 4 people's jobs, in the incredible way that she so often does. But we had done a pro forma beforehand, and we expected at least $100,000 of loss. Especially we had financial data from 2014 up through Maxwell, and we kind of have an idea of what it can do and what it looks like when it's done right. And so the nice part about that is, you see over there about over 1.2 million in gross sales on 9 months. Okay. And the first quarter in hospitality is always the worst, even in good years. We did not include that. Obviously that was when Tom Maxwell had owned it. And here Jenny's being the general manager, Tom Berggren, we owe a debt of gratitude to him. When he joined Perry Economic Development, he probably never thought that he would also then have to work with the general manager to manage and oversee the hotel operations for a year.
And I was outgoing president just in time.
Yes. But that was an unpaid, we'll call it an internship. I don't think you need the credit, but it really had a good team. Other members of the committee that couldn't join us, Mike Van Houweling has been involved. I mean, we have rewritten the employee handbook. We have worked through a lot of issues and provided counsel to Jenny. She's schooled us on what it means to run a hotel and convention center. And so it's been an incredible learning experience. A couple other things to point out. So on the shortened year, 3,600 guest rooms sold, average daily rate of $149. So back through 2014, that is the highest average daily rate of rooms, at least in the history of the records that we have. Okay, maybe Roberta had done it better. We're not really sure, but for certain, for the financial records we have, especially even in a COVID impacted year, that's a lot of rooms. You annualize those. I mean, we're competing. Here the rooms that Jenny has sold is really competing with some of the better years, even though the revenues are short of some of the best years. We're looking for big things this year. So, as I said before, Jenny is general manager, has been, started with Tom, continued here, has done a fantastic job. I think she has so many elements that no one else could bring to the position, with her tie-in with the art scene and culture, and just knowing everyone, and then also being willing to put a few of us on report that need it. But she is just doing a fantastic job, and there been some headwinds that have been solved over this time. Now we're into a time when it's incredible and difficult to find anyone to work to do anything. And she has a very, seems to have a very loyal staff. I would say they all, for the most part, are her children. They are, her coworkers, but she is the kind of manager who genuinely cares. And I think in today's world, that's something that's pretty unique and extraordinary. Let's see. Next page, hotel patio facility improvements. So on the timeline, we had seen through time, and I just know as a guest, and then later as studying it, certain owners or people that have run the hotel have not invested in the infrastructure. They just haven't. And then really what happens is then the city and Perry Economic Development come to the rescue when things happen, right? And the city more so, orders of magnitude more so. But that is something that has, even beginning with Maxwell, I will say, catching up from the Hearts years, catching up from leisure years, there has been an incredible amount of maintenance. And we've got a crack, like I said earlier, a crack team right now. Bob Smithson is a retired, now rehired Woodward Academy maintenance specialist. He's been taking care of St. Pat's School and Church as long as I can remember. And he is part of the team. He has been able to overhaul and fix and maintain things that, in a very short period of time. And you got to look here. I mean, some of these highlights, these aren't, a lot of the stuff isn't sexy, right? Water heaters and chiller pumps and things that I don't even know what they do. But the important part is you get hot water on demand, right? You can regulate the temperatures in a guest room. You can, things that really impact the guest experience. And here, like I said before, we turned a modest profit, but had we not invested like other people had done in the past, had you not invested the $200,000 cash into these systems, then we'd be wowing you with the numbers that we did have, right? While our systems are degraded. And so that was not done. And so I think, that's kind of the story. I guess, Jenny, if you want to come up for a minute. Maybe you want to brag on a little bit about a few of the operational highlights and things that have been going on.
There's been a lot, more than that page. I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of small things that get done too, such as paint jobs. But one thing I want to highlight is the bowling alley. That bowling alley it amazes me how many people are interested in that and how it draws out of town guests. But the maintenance on that crazy thing has been quite a ride. I want to thank Spare Time Lanes in Jefferson, and they have brought those lanes back to life. And in doing that, all I have to do is buy them lunch. They have spent thousands of dollars, labor alone, and all I have to do is give them a tenderloin and life is great. I want to make sure that they get on our plaque. The other one, I don't know how I'm going to thank this group, is the Perry Quilt Guild. I think Matt has 3 quilts. I think we're up to 6, 7 quilts now. And you have 40 rooms, but you got a lot more than 40 beds. This is works of art, just truly gorgeous, gorgeous quilts. And they're there every Wednesday. And of course, they come every Wednesday, but they're doing a lot outside of Wednesday in making these quilts. And all we do is pay for the materials, the labor involved in that. And you guys, if you ever get a moment, you need to come tour these rooms with the quilts. And I'm surprised that we have 6, 7 so far, because it does take a long time, but it's worth every minute. And I want to keep them on our side forever. Then we've got things like glass, and Alan Lenz he helps us quite a bit. I don't want to forget Alan Lenz. And there's so many locals that come in, whether that's flooring or the painter. But again, I also have my housekeepers and my waitstaff. You'd be surprised what these kids are doing. I mean, if I have a toilet that's aggravating us, my housekeeper, I've got a couple guys that know what to do. Saves us a few pennies. So the list goes on of a lot of small things that nobody knows about that happens there, that we're very thankful that the employees are there to jump in and take care of it. We had an issue with our flat top in the kitchen, and over at our dish, I had 2 guys right there that worked there every day that knew what to do. Before that, it was scrambling. It was calling Dries or whoever about some little goofy thing. So a lot of money's being saved just with the crew that we have. Oh, yeah. Something too. Matt asked me, Jenny, how many employees? I go, we got about 33. But Matt, that's not the number I want you to look at. The number is 66 or 99. The reason why I say that is when I hire a single mom, I'm probably getting 2 children. I'm probably getting a significant other. I'm getting more than that one employee to worry about. I worry about the whole family. And they all live basically here in Perry, maybe 5 miles down the road, something like that. But this is 33 people that care about the hotel, that are working to make it the best that we can do. And their family is so important to us. And I want you guys to understand that this hotel is working now because of all the locals involved in it. And 33 employees is 33 families that we are taking care of. And our hotel would not be where it's at today if it wasn't for the chefs in the restaurant. To have Angie Brailsford Peterson, to have Anna, I can't say enough about Anna right now, Troy Trostel, Miguel. We have people come in and they come because of Troy. We have people that I received a $1,600 check the other day. Angie bought the product, prepared the product, delivered the product, went back and picked up the dirty dish and all the crap that goes with it, cleaned it herself. One employee, one chef did all that, and here comes a $1,600 check. We had last week 32 breakfasts from one group, 32 lunches, 32 dinners. Anna, Troy, Angie. And that's over and above the everyday business that's coming in. We were handed a $15,000 check last week for a group for 2.5 days. This weekend, for about a day and a half, we had about a $3,000 check come in, and it's food and the rooms. Our hotel restaurant is such a strong foundation for our community and the people that we bring in. Now I have a group that came in, they ate breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, and then the next night they went down the street to the restaurants downtown, and we welcomed that. We even suggested that, hey, we've got these other restaurants for you to check out. So what we bring over here is helping our community big time. I have hard copies. I was talking to these guys about between La Poste and the hotel for last year. I have hard documentation that I had 26,000 people between La Poste and the hotel to our community. And if you want to see it, I'll lay it all out for you. And I think that's something we can hang our bonnet on.
Jenny, I've got a question.
Ask me.
I've had a ton of people ask me what's gonna happen to the old bike shop.
Oh my,
Is that gonna be turned into a museum?
no, we have plans. We have dreams. We're doing work in there right now. Tom, we're doing work in, I don't want to steal Tom's thunder, but if he doesn't say what I want, I'll jump in here. I got a plan. Tom,
So with the bike shop moving out last fall, we've spent a lot of time reviewing what we could do with that space, because it really is valuable space, and it's really unique, as you well know, the hours you spent in there. And so what we're doing right now, we are in a recovery situation because of a water break last January on the 2nd, and that's almost completed. We also are doing some movement of some of the fixtures in there, but we're going to turn that into flex space. And so we will use it for special events that are already occurring in the hotel, because we do have situations where we do need more space that we don't have. So that's going to let us go after some larger groups. Also flex space for special events. We want to really start using Sumas Court for outdoor events. It's really underutilized right now. That's a perfect place where we can serve food out of liquor and service the entire Sumas Court. Since that is basically private property, we can fence it off and have groups in there. And then we're also exploring other opportunities with other types of food, maybe grab and go. Just a word, how it fits into our marketing plan. And I have to give Sven credit for this, but we're really focusing on the 3 Bs. So B number 1, and this is not in order of any rank order, but businesses. And so we're starting to see businesses come back, having their meetings at the hotel. Brides. Jenny is very effective at selling La Poste and the hotel to brides. And if she can deal with brides and brides' mothers, bless her heart, because I don't have the patience. But that's a real economic driver for us right now. And going into the spring, we'll realize that. And then bikes, that's our third B. We are poised right now as kind of a trailhead for a lot of bicycles coming to town. And once we get the connector, which we've heard is going through in the next year or 2 years, we think business will pick up even more. But how do we cater to bike riders? And how do we really cater to the bike riders that have disposable income? Because that's what we want to do. We want to bring them to town, ride the trails for 3-4 days, eat at the hotel, eat at the other restaurants, shop at the shops downtown. And so that's a big part of it. The part that's missing in 3Bs is community. And as kind of a thank you to the community, we've been trying to rebrand the hotel as a community hotel. You know, you look at the groups we have meeting now. We have Lions, Rotarians, Optimists, PEO, the retired school personnel meet there. The Quilt Guild meet there. There's a bridge club that meets there. You know, we want people to feel comfortable coming in from the community and not seeing it as just for outsiders. And I think we're making inroads with that. And we try to treat those groups as if they were a multi-million-dollar contract. But that's kind of a long answer, but we've got big plans for the old bike shop. It'll be under a different name very soon.
Had a ton of people ask me about it, so.
Thank you. I thought maybe you wanted your old job back.
No.
Given a minute, I'll take an hour. But I think, really that kind of summarizes, for the committee, and if Sven or Mayor Andorf, if there's anything they want to add to the group, but we really have learned a lot about the hotel business, about our community as it relates to the hotel, the importance of the hotel, and really what we want this to be. And if you look on the hotel bar wall, there have been some panoramics through time, and whether it's at the hotel, that some have been, and I always thought, man, I really want to be part of one of those, right? But I was born in the late 70s, and so I missed out on the first few of the pictures. I was just a little late for the Amundsen era, as well as still in school. But kind of look behind you or up on the screen right now is kind of our recreation of here and the donors and people and employees and things that really that put their time and treasure into this place and genuinely care about it and its future. And here I'm in the back on the right, which is you're in the middle on the in the back, which is yeah. But it's really been fantastic, and we're really coming to the end, of what's been I would say yet another highly successful project. And I thank you to the city and city council for having the will to continue to recognize what a treasure this really is. I did say we would have an announcement tonight, and so I will start off by saying the most important part, all of these things are great, right? But and here you go back to the 5 bullets. The biggest thing is who's going to run it, right? What are you going to do? I mean, here Eklund's going to run it. There's no question about it. But what we have found through this is we have found people who are willing to put their own treasure on the line, and have formed are forming a company to run the hotel. I mentioned that he has been an intern, unpaid of sorts, but Dr. Berkred, Jenny, and then Mike, free to say your other partner, and Alan Pites are forming their own company, and they are going to be the first group to lease the hotel, in this case from Perry Economic Development. So Tom, if you want to maybe come up and slow your thunder.
Sure, no, that's not a problem, Matt. You always steal my thunder. After really careful review from the companies that we looked at and from the effort of the community, we felt that local management would be best. And it wasn't something I was looking for. I am supposed to be retired. I own 4 other companies right now, divesting myself from one company. But 3 of the companies I still manage and are active in. And so this is just an addition to the group, but with partners like I've got, including Monica Pites and Sue Kimpston, who's my wife, we decided over the last couple months that, well, if not us, then who? And we really didn't come up with a better answer. I personally have hospitality experience on the other side of the desk. I spent 25 years as a major event planner in my role with the association, including back of house experience with every major hotel chain in the United States. And then my wife and I also owned a restaurant before I started one and ended up selling that. So I do have in my background that. But the hotel is like any business. It really comes down to managing and inspiring employees, watching the finances, and putting together a team that's all in. And Jenny is really doing that right now. And as you can tell, Jenny is all in with the effort. And I wouldn't do this without Jenny agreeing to stay on as general manager and also being a partner with our corporation. And so we feel like the town, the city can really benefit by having local management. I've been here 35 years and have no plans on retiring to Florida anytime soon. So we will be taking over operations as soon as we can negotiate the lease with PED, and it will be a lease operation. So we will assume all risk from profit and loss with the hotel. And then hopefully once the city takes over, the lease will be assigned over to the city. So that's what our plan is right now. Any questions?
All good news.
Great. Well, we thank you for your time. And I want to
Thank
thank
you. I
Matt.
think it's
for doing
clear,
this.
you know, we all knew this already, but once again, it's clear that the management group, our presenters tonight especially, have a great deal of passion towards the hotel in Perry and making this work. And having been, and still am a member of the management committee, you know, I've seen all along the passion and how hard these people work to try and move things forward. For that, I thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mayor.
Anything else for these people? Okay, thanks again for your presentation. Moving on to open forum. That's our next topic, I believe. As per usual, speakers will be asked to step up to the microphone and state their name and address for the record if they're present. Individuals speaking will be given 3 minutes to address council. If anybody's on Zoom that wants to be part of open forum, you just identify who you are and take up 3 minutes for your presentation. Have anybody for open forum tonight? Mary, do you want to say anything more about the library and National Library Week? What's going on?
Yes, I will.
I figured you might. Thank you.
I just wanted to say that we have adopted a new strategic plan with a strategic mission. And it just fits right in with the theme this year on National Library Week. And National Library Week is connecting with your library. And our new mission statement is enabling our community to thrive by offering lifelong opportunities to connect, to learn, and to create. So I think connections is what it's all about. I was just on the radio this afternoon and talking about National Library Week and how we value our role at the library to make those connections. So many times somebody comes in because they don't know where to go to find out information. And we know sort of where to find it, but we can ask and find out the information and get it to that person. I hearken always back to the phone call I got on a Friday afternoon. Somebody needed information about Title 19 and hospitalization. And I called the people from the health department, the county health department, and found out the person that they needed to talk to. It is so essential to be so connected to your community that you know where to go or who to ask. And I think that's how I view the library, as the connector in the community.
Thank you. Anybody else for open forum? Lindsay, I believe you're on. Do you have anything to share with us tonight regarding the chamber?
Sure, just really quick, we have a number of things going on right now, as always. So one for sure is the Big Boom Bracket Battle, and the fact that that is ending tomorrow. So far with our fireworks drive, we have raised just over $4,200, a little ways away from our total goal of $12,500. Just an update about fireworks in general is that the price is about 30% higher. The cost of those fireworks are about 30% higher. So in order to have a show that we had last year, which was actually like about $14,500, we would actually need to raise about $18,000. So our goal is still 12.5, and we had a little carryover from last year, but we have a long way to go for that. So just remind people that we've got the Big Boom Bracket Battle ending tomorrow at noon, and then we'll have a last call at our annual dinner tomorrow night at La Poste. And then on Wednesday, bright and early, 8 a.m., we will have our Radio Pie auction for the fireworks drive as well. So that is what we've got going on right now. I can talk more about other things next time.
Sounds good. Sounds like another busy week. Anybody else for open forum? If not, we'll move on to old business. First item under old business is approval of pay application number 10 for the wastewater treatment facility improvements. Pay application number 10 in the amount of $1,334,768.47 to Woodruff Construction for the construction of the wastewater treatment facility improvements. To date, total payments requested by the contractor is 26.5% of the total amount of work to be completed under the contract. All documents have been reviewed and signed by the engineer and are recommended for approval. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion, we approve pay application number 10 of the wastewater treatment facility improvements.
Discussion or any updates related to that?
They're really going to town.
They
out
are.
there. I walked out there one day last week, and man, tying steel and laying concrete everywhere. It's starting to look like something.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Anything else related to wastewater treatment? If not, call the roll, please.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Mahler,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Okay, next item, resolution approving the formal submission of an application to the FAA rather, for eligible funds from the Airport Terminals Program. As part of the bipartisan infrastructure law funding, the FAA received funds to provide competitive grants for airport infrastructure, terminals, and facilities. Terminals and towers were specifically designated funding for new construction, and the ACIP was updated to highlight the addition of a new terminal building for the Perry Municipal Airport that would modernize the building, provide adequate training area, pilot planning areas, airport conference space, and space for airport users to gather prior to travel. The existing terminal has been in place since the late 1960s and is requiring substantial upgrades to bring it to code compliant, as well as provide adequate space for today's airport users. The grant application was due to the FAA on March 28th, 2022. The City Council partook in a phone poll on March 28th, 2022 to approve submission of such application that was due that evening. The action to submit such application was carried unanimously by the council. The estimated project cost is $1,100,000 and the local share of the project is 5% or $55,000. This resolution formally approves the submission of the application to the FAA. Need a motion to submit this application to the FAA?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
So I'll speak for everybody and thank council for being so nimble and willing to do a phone poll on this, but we're kind of in a time, and similar to the community project funding, the next item, that things come out for opportunities and have a really quick turnaround. So we're ferociously trying to keep on top of stuff. Bolton and Mink does just a fabulous job of keeping on top of everything and making sure that things get turned in on time. So
Sometimes we just can't
yeah,
wait for a
this,
meeting.
this was just one of those funding opportunities that came up, and you know, our terminal is older and in need of some repairs. So it was a good opportunity for us to at least throw our hat in the ring. Being kind of out of the normal, I would say, for the funding, there's probably not a lot of communities that are able to turn something around this quickly, so we could stand a good chance. But I also have to pause and be very thankful and gracious for all of the FAA funding that we've gotten for the runway and runway extension and everything with that. So good opportunity, couldn't pass up trying to.
Sounds like another great opportunity for our airport and our community. Any other discussion on that grant submission? If not, call the roll, please.
Walling,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Berkland,
Yes.
Mahler,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, before we move on, I'd like to suggest that it would be nice to hear from airport management sometime, to come in and tell us about the airport and how things are going and their points of view. We've had that before, but it's been some years.
Yep.
And that would be interesting.
That
I
would be
think.
good.
That was discussed at one of the recent work sessions about getting that lined up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll work on that, I'm
Yeah,
sure. Thank
look
you.
forward to that.
Okay, thank you. Our next item is the one I referenced at the beginning of our meeting, that in addition to our agenda, under old business C, again, it's not on your printed copy here, it's the one we added. This is a resolution supporting the city and supporting community project funding. The city of Perry is a community in Iowa's 3rd congressional district, can apply for community project funding through the congressional appropriations through Representative Sidney Axne. This resolution would approve the support and allow for applications to be submitted to the Office of Representative Cindy Axne for the community project funding for Perry's downtown revitalization project. Need a motion to approve this resolution to seek funding?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Is there anything to add to that?
Same exact thing as last year. We're gonna go for downtown revitalization funding. Some of the feedback we got last year is that our project was not as ready as other projects. So hopefully this year we can come to the table and show that we're ready and willing and ready to take on this project and get it done. So this is also part of the CDBG application we just went through at the last meeting. So hopefully putting in for the same project a second year in a row will be good. Again, I think the notice came out late last week, and we realized at 2 o'clock today that we needed an application for the process that's due Monday, the 18th at 11 a.m. So we were able to sneak it on this agenda. Thank you to the mayor for allowing that, and Liz for putting up with me.
Again, we need to try for it. It'd be too late if we waited for our next council meeting.
Yep.
Any other discussion on that? If not, call the roll, please.
Schott,
Yes.
Berkland,
Yes.
Mahler,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll move on to new business. First item under new business is resolution adopting the state of Iowa's Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, procurement policies and procedures. As recipient of Community Development Block Grant, CDBG funds, the city of Perry is required to have an up-to-date procurement policies and procedures, and it was determined that the current policies and procedures needed to be updated. This resolution would adopt the state of Iowa's CDBG procurement policies and procedures as what's included in the council packet. Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution adopting the state of Iowa's community development block grant for procurement policies and procedures.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
I think this just came up as part of our housing, CDBG housing grant audit. So just something, housekeeping item.
Yeah. Okay, if there's no further discussion, call the roll, please.
Klein,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Berkland,
Yes.
Mahler,
yes,
Schott.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next item under new business, resolution setting a date for a public hearing on designation of the expanded Perry urban renewal area and on urban renewal plan amendment. Semper Fi Commercial Solutions LLC and KM Baxter Investments LLC have proposed projects to the city to provide new space for businesses and to develop vacant and/or blighted properties. Tax increment financing will be used to assist both of these projects. These urban renewal projects must be added to the urban renewal area for this to take place. This resolution will set the public hearing date for this proposed resolution, which will be at our next meeting.
No, it'll be, sorry, I didn't have that piece in there. It was in the resolution, May 2nd.
May 2nd?
May
Okay.
2nd.
Okay. Thank you. Need a motion to, for this?
I move we approve the resolution setting a date for a public hearing on designation of the expanded Perry urban renewal area and on urban renewal plan amendment.
I'll second that.
Again, let's just set a public hearing date. Any discussion on setting the date? If not, call the roll, please.
Schott,
Yes.
Berkland,
Yes.
Mahler,
yes,
Walling,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Thank you. Next item on a new business, resolution deleting property from the Perry urban renewal area. The two parcels that make up the property at 913 Evelyn Street, the site of KM Baxter Investments LLC will be renovating, is in a tax increment financing district which has expired. As such, the city can no longer utilize this tool unless the parcels are removed from the urban renewal area and re-added through the amendment process. This action will remove the parcels from the urban renewal area so that they may be added through the amendment process. Need a motion, please?
I move that we pass a resolution deleting property from the Perry urban renewal.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Just kind of part of the process we have to go through. This certain area is old enough that we have to reset the clock on the TIF collections.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Is that the only property in that area that has done?
So since this is property and project specific, we're only taking out those two parcels. So what we're actually going to be doing is delete them and then add them back in. So it'll be a little bit of a process, but that's part of the reason I believe ordinance B tonight, we will be asking for 3 readings of that just to be able to get that process moving through. And all that does is take out those two parcels from the urban renewal plan.
Okay. Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Walling,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Berkland,
Yes.
Mahler,
yes,
Schott.
Yes.
Next item on a new business, resolution approving a contract with Lynch Dallas PC for attorney services. Through conversations between staff and the city attorney, it has been determined that it would be more suitable to establish a relationship with a firm that has expertise in nuisance abatement matters. Through research, it was found that Lynch Dallas out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, has specialization and resources to handle the more difficult and time-consuming nuisance issues for our town, allowing for our city attorney to be removed from being caught in the middle of any given situation. This resolution would approve a contract with Lynch Dallas PC for services mainly for nuisance abatement and code enforcement. This resolution would not change any of the services Dwayne Dalen and his office currently provide and would still be the city attorney for all other matters. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion, we pass a resolution approving a contract with Lynch Dallas PC for attorney services.
Discussion?
So as the mayor said, this is something that we and I have talked about on and off for a little bit since last fall or so. And it just so happened that this spring we ran into a compliance issue that he would have a conflict of interest on. So we talked and he gave the thumbs up to go with Lynch Dallas. I think he's probably heard some presentations from them and thought they would be a good fit. I've had a number of conferences that they've presented at, and they're kind of the standard for being the experts to give those presentations at the conferences. So feel pretty comfortable with moving forward with them.
Okay. Any further discussion?
It just seems a shame to me that we need to go to Cedar Rapids to find an attorney.
Well, so I view this very similar to how we have Allers and Cooney for our personnel attorney for any personnel issues, union negotiations, things like that. And then also Dorsey and Whitney for all of our urban renewal plan, TIF bond issues, things like that. Just so happened Lynch Dallas is out of Cedar Rapids with a couple of satellite offices, but like I said, it was kind of the experts in the field.
Yeah, I do understand, and I understand that we need the experts and we need the people that have, but for me, I like to shop in Perry.
Okay. Any other further discussion on this? If not, call the roll, please.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Mahler,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next item under new business, resolution approving the Hotel Patty professional service agreement for facility study. This resolution would approve a professional service agreement with Ethos Design Group, Inc. to conduct a facility study of the Hotel Patty. This would be similar to what was conducted at the McCurry Center building prior to its recent renovations. The report will provide detailed information on the current condition of the facility and provide a full evaluation. The professional service agreement cost would be $69,963. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion that we pass a resolution approving the service agreement. I'll second.
Discussion?
So just like we started the process with the Curry renovations and things like that, this will be a very similar study and product that we get. Kind of our long-term insurance policy to know as we're working through with Perry Economic Development of exactly what the really long-term needs are or the larger issues or improvements that the hotel might have. So they'll be going through all of the HVAC equipment, mechanicals, electrical, plumbing, as well as having interior designers go through every room, both guest room, meeting rooms, and back of house space, making note of things that would need to be fixed. Really giving us a very comprehensive vision of what the hotel needs, both mechanically and the nuts and bolts of the hotel, but also aesthetically too, of carpet that's wearing out, things like that. So again, an insurance policy so that we have a very detailed third-party assessment of what exactly the hotel's condition is.
How in-depth are they gonna be in this assessment? Will they check insulation, things like that? Because this is frozen up 5 times in the last 5 years. This end of it.
Yeah.
There's no insulation in ceiling rooms. There's no circulation pump, which is supposed to run the heat through that building. It was never repaired. Will they find those things?
Yep, they'll go through all of that kind of stuff with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that, again, we know every little issue that needs to be addressed from there, we'll be able to put together a thorough capital improvement plan so that we can budget responsibly over the coming years and know kind of what to expect. Just like the rec center, they went through and told us everything that needed to be done. And luckily we jumped on a couple of those things, and it was just in the nick of the time for the boilers. But I can also vouch for, all the work that's been put in, even Tom Maxwell put in a lot of money into upkeeping the hotel. Has a brand new roof, new boiler and new water heater last year. So, I think things are in decent shape. It's just kind of like City Hall. Things are just getting to the age that they're getting a little bit tired, worn out, and need to be replaced. So, but we'll have very clear understanding of every little thing.
Any further discussion on that?
I guess I have one question, Sven.
Sure.
Do all of the things that they are going to be looking at, inspecting, mechanical and structural and all those things, are all of those things that would fall under obligations of the city of Perry? Should there be the lease negotiated?
So that's kind of to be determined, but that's what phase 2 or phase 3 and the ongoing phases of fundraising are going to help with, as well as that ongoing maintenance and upkeep. But in general, I think the maintenance of the building will be up to the city. Kind of at the beginning of the whole conversation, our goal was to maintain the hotel and find somebody to come in and run the hotel and operate it.
Perfect.
Yep.
This will not impact the post.
Correct.
at all.
Yep.
They're not looking at the post.
Yeah. In conversations, we felt like the post luckily is pretty simple and has newer equipment. I mean, other than the boiler, which is original, I think, and bulletproof. So, I think air conditioner is pretty new, and beyond that, again, it's a pretty simple building. So I think between, the staff at the hotel that keeps stuff up and then city staff, that will be a really manageable building. It had a new roof in the last 5 years as well. So
That boiler is 1953. I was there when I was working for the schools. But it is well maintained.
you weren't even born yet.
Yes, I was.
Any other discussion on the service agreement with Ethos? If not, call the roll, please.
Walling.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Berkland.
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Moving on to ordinances. We have a couple tonight, I believe. First one is ordinance amending the Code of Ordinance, Chapter 135.10, driveway entrances, driveways, and driveway extensions. It has been brought to the city's attention that large driveways are being constructed that encompass significant portions of a property's front yard. The current driveway ordinance does not disallow this, nor does it set many standards for driveway construction. City staff have been researching and workshopping possible standards for driveway construction to include rules for material, size, and location of driveways that will prevent construction of driveways that are excessively large, of lower quality construction or material, and located in areas where driveways are not typically found. With passage of this ordinance, it would modify Chapter 135.10, driveway entrances, driveways, and driveway extensions. This would be our second reading tonight if we pass it. Need a motion, please?
I move that we pass an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinance, Chapter 135.10. Driveways and driveway extensions.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
So I wanted to discuss a few things that have come up in the last couple of weeks since the first reading. But really, first of all, this came around because of a lack of definition in our ordinance as to, what defining what an initial driveway is and then extensions. And it just says you can have extensions. It doesn't say how many or how large or anything like that. So really just trying to provide some definition and direction for staff to implement and enforce the ordinance. The other thing is it's not retroactive. So right in the ordinance, it says that people can still maintain gravel driveways and things like that. So really, I think the intent is mostly for new construction, although there are some, all of the existing new driveways would have to adhere to this ordinance. Also, staff fully recognizes that there are certain circumstances that are outside of this ordinance, and that's why we have the Board of Adjustment that can grant variances for certain specific special considerations. So wanted to, put that out there for consideration and just put that in your heads.
Thank you for clarifying that a little bit further. Any further discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Walling,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Mahler,
Yes.
Berkland,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes. I make a motion that we suspend.
No, we're gonna wait till the next time. We will give it three meetings. Thank you anyway. Moving on to the next ordinance. Ordinance deleting property from the tax increment financing district for the Perry Urban Renewal Area of the city of Perry, Iowa, pursuant to section 403.19 of the Code of Iowa. The two parcels that make up the property at 913 Evelyn Street, the site of KM Baxter's Investments LLC, will be renovating. It is in a tax increment financing district which has expired. As such, the city can no longer utilize the tool unless the parcels are removed from the expired tax increment district. This ordinance will update the Perry Urban Renewal Area designated as a tax increment district by deleting parcels 0209480004 and 0209480007. Need a motion, please?
I make a motion to pass ordinance deleting property from the tax increment financing district for the Perry Urban Renewal Area.
I'll second.
Discussion? I'm already discussed this like earlier, but any further discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Berkland,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Mahler,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
and Klein.
Yes.
Thank you. Good meeting. Having no further.
Oh, wait,
Can we do all three?
Do all three? Okay. Sure.
Um,
If somebody wants to make a motion to suspend the
I-
rules.
I make a motion, we suspend the rules on this and do all second and third reading tonight also.
Well, we'll do one at a time. Second reading, okay?
Actually, hold on. The way Dorsey has it wrote up for us, it is, we're only gonna do one more meeting, so Councilmember Berkland is going to move that the statutory rule requiring an ordinance to be considered and voted on for passage at 2 council meetings prior to the meeting at which it has been, at which it is to be finally passed and suspended. So then we're gonna have a final approval of consideration and adoption with just one more.
Just one more, okay.
Yeah, it's different than how we normally do it. but
Yeah,
that's
that is.
How they wrote the ordinance, kind of it's preset to, I guess, in my opinion, idiot-proof in a way, so I can't mess it up for you guys.
Thank you, Liz. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Okay.
That's what I heard you say. Need a second?
Also,
Any further discussion? Okay, now we need to have a motion to, I think, vote on that, yeah.
Yep, so I got Berkland,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Mahler,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
and Klein.
Yes.
Now we need a motion on the ordinance, I think, to delete the property from tax increment financial district.
I make that motion.
I'll second.
Any further discussion on that? Now we can call the roll on that.
Walling,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Berkland,
Yes.
Mahler,
Yes.
and Schott.
Yes.
Thank you. Again, good meeting tonight. Having no other business before us, we stand adjourned at 7:37 PM. Thank you, everybody.